Rashad Beard, what's up, fella?
What's up? I missed the red day. What's up with this?
Had to break out the old 23 today, baby.
No, you missed the number.
No, I know we're both wearing red.
The 20s. Yeah, you need a number in the 20s. Yeah.
Also breaking out the old classic throwback Eddie George.
I got 27. He got 23. So I don't know. I don't know what 20 number you'd want though.
My favorite, Rashad. Who is that? Like,
who's
that?
Go with 24, maybe.
Who's that throwback role player from back in the day that you loved? Like that Z wide receiver, that cornerback in the nickel. Like, who's that throwback role player that you loved growing up?
Probably Ricky Proehl.
Ricky Proehl is a good answer.
Yeah, he's probably the role player for the Carolina Panthers. Playing opposite of Steve Smith and Moose, he was kind of overlooked. But Ricky Proehl, just off the top of my head, is probably the best.
That's a great answer.
Well, don't act surprised. I mean, of course
I'm not surprised. This is that joke that like dudes can just sit around and like name old football players and have the time of their lives. That's it for me. Yeah. We used to have a receiver back in the day named Keith Poole. Do you remember Keith Poole?
Keith Poole, I do not recall.
Keith Poole, I think Keith Poole played for the Saints before the Panthers were a thing. So it's like it's been a minute. But I loved Keith. Board number 83. This dude was like the definition of that like slant wide receiver that all you do is throw it to him, he'd pick up. He was Wes Welker before Wes Welker was cool.
Okay.
He was also born in 1974. So, I mean, he was.
Yes, he is older than me by a lot. I brought it up, Rashad, because I broke out the Jordan jersey today, but I said earlier in the show that the next jersey I'm buying is a Tony Kukoc jersey. And I realized that like there's a lot of dudes out there who don't know who Tony Kukoc is now.
Hey, man, elite Tony Kukoc was nice. Yeah, he was nice, man.
Brad Hoover. Sure. You got a Brad Hoover over there.
Brad Hoover's a good answer.
Brad Hoover's solid. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one, too.
I used to have a Brad Hoover jersey.
I was scrolling Twitter earlier, and a video of Willie Roaf came up, and I'm like, dude, you got to be hard to be like big offensive tackle guy over here.
I mean, little arms, but his benching. I mean, his arms look little, but his back to chest was like 4 feet.
I mean, it was a barrel with legs.
Yeah,
we both had some time with Willie Roaf.
We did. He would throw his glasses on, and from the head up, it looked like,
a big ass nerd.
Yeah, and then when you see how big he really was, a big dude. So if you had a chance, Rashad, when you guys are doing pictures, to put your co-host in a headlock, would you have done it? Because I got to do that the other day to Rob Brown. He was not expecting it. It was a pretty headlock, though.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Thank you for being normal.
What about the other way around when he put you in a headlock?
Nah, that's not happening.
Okay, all right. Not trying to cause division. I was just curious.
Every Thursday morning at this time, we are joined on the stream by one half of the Panther Nation podcast to talk Carolina Panther football. Up the road we go to Charlotte, North Carolina to welcome in the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Rashad Beard, joins us here to talk a little Big Cat football. What up, Shad? How we doing, big dog?
What's going on, guys? Man, just another week of football.
Another week of football. Is that just how it is for you right now? It's just like, here we go again.
Yeah, this is how it is, man. It's hard to get excited. We hit the peak after that Raiders game, got really excited, and then kind of back to reality here with the current version of the Carolina Panthers. So that's kind of where we are.
It is, man. Like I go back and I looked at the, you watch the Cincinnati game and again, I think Cincinnati's a better team than the record indicates, right? Like I think Cincinnati's going to be around at the end. I'm not calling the playoff run, but I think they'll be around. And you're competitive in that game. And then you turn around the next week and it's like you forgot every damn thing that you learned in that run up. What do you chalk that up to?
I don't know. I do not know. It's frustrating. I think it really largely depends on the team we're playing and the type of defense we're playing. Atlanta's defense is not the best, which is why I believe we were able to hang with them. Obviously, we couldn't score enough points to keep up with them to win the game. But defensively, the Falcons aren't that great, which is why we were able to hang. Prior to that, when we start to play these tougher defenses, we're going to look like we don't belong. And that's what's happening. That's what's happening. You're relying on a defense that isn't very good at the moment, doesn't have the pass rush that it needs. So I don't know. I think it's just largely to the level of competition, to be honest.
It's interesting to me because I agree with you. I think Atlanta. I was wrong on Atlanta. It's gonna be a fine offense. They're gonna be able to put up points, but defensively they'll give them away. We saw that in that game against New Orleans. We saw it against you guys. Like, points are on the board. I guess my frustration is we made the argument. One of your listeners in the PMP Army a couple of weeks ago made the argument that you make the switch to Andy Dalton so that Dave Canales could show that his system works, even if not under Bryce Young. And then we turn around, run it back a week later, and it's like, oh, maybe not, right? And so I'm kind of conflicted on, is the Vegas-Cincinnati game, Carolina Panthers, the real deal, or are the Panthers from this past weekend the real deal? And it's frustrating to me, Rashad, because, we know ball, and ain't neither one of us got an answer right now, and it's a little frustrating.
Yeah, it's frustrating. And let me just be clear. I don't think this offense would look as good with Bryce under center. I do think Dalton is the much better quarterback, and I do believe that Dalton gives us the best opportunity to win. However, we are still ending up with an L at the end of the day, right? And so we're still in the same spot we were, whether Bryce Young is the starter or not. I had a big argument on the show. We go live every Tuesday, by the way, every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. We had a big argument on the show about this situation, about what we do moving forward. And if we're going to end up in the same situation with an L at the end of the day, and I do understand losing with a little bit of swagger helps, right? I.e. the Falcons and the Bengals games. But at the end of the day, you need to figure out what the deal is with Bryce. And, Canales keeps saying that Bryce Young he's going to be around for the long term. You're not going to trade him, blah, 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 blah. And you got to find out if there's no better experience than live action. And if him just sitting on the bench watching Andy Dalton is not going to help much. You got to get him out there, and let's know by the end of the season whether we need to move on or not, because we don't have time for us to wait. Let Andy Dalton play through the season and then throw Bryce Young back out there again in next year, and then we're right back in the same spot. Let's know by the end of the season if Bryce Young is the guy. So get him out there and let him sink or swim.
Talk to me a little bit about that, because I got to tell you, the more I watch this play out, the more I'm starting to believe, and I appreciate Canales' power of positivity out there. Talk to me a little bit about your belief that Bryce Young will be a Carolina Panther and will be QB1 next year.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think that Canales is going to go get his guy. I'm a firm believer in that every coach needs the opportunity to get their own guy that they can go down with, right? And unfortunately, fortunately for Canales, he didn't pick up either Dalton or Bryce Young. So he has the opportunity to go out there and get his own guy, which I do believe is going to be the case. I believe he's going to go out there and get his own guy. I just don't know that Bryce has it. And I know that Panther Nation feels that, right? Panther Nation is out on Bryce as a whole, and that's okay. But I need Canales and the leadership in the organization to also back being out on Bryce. And that does not appear that they're fully out. They still got one foot in the door. So let's let him play for the rest of the season, see what you got. And if he ain't got it by the end of the season, either he's going to one, improve his stock or destroy his stock. But at the end of the day, who cares? The stock is about, we need to care about the Carolina Panthers stock. And right now it's down. It's way down. So we need to get it better. So I ultimately believe Canales will get his own quarterback.
I'm interested in that, and I'm starting to lean that direction as well. We had somebody in the chat point out a second ago, of course, this defense isn't going to be any good when you have 7 starters out. I mean, listen, there's no denying, Rashad Beard, that you guys are as banged up as any team in the league right now, which makes it even more difficult. Forget winning, just to look like a competitive NFL team. Is there any part of you that makes the results you're getting easier to accept, knowing, hey, man, if we were fully healthy, it wouldn't look like this?
Sort of. I can harken back to game one though, when we did have Derek Brown and Shaq Thompson, and we still got 40-something points put on us. But it's one of those things you're not gonna know, right? It is unfortunate. I believe Derek Brown is the best player on the team, so obviously him being out there on the field is going to impact the results. So ideally, yeah, it'd be nice to have him and Shaq and all the other guys. We are getting some guys back. Dane Jackson's practice windows open. Sam Franklin, who is an elite special teamer, he's coming back. So we do have some guys coming back. Don't know when Wanham is coming back. We have no clue with him. Clowney should be working his way back. So we should be able to get better defensively as we progress throughout the season. So that shouldn't be a problem. But yeah, so there is a little hope with the defense for sure.
We're talking to Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, joins us every Thursday at this time to talk Panther football. As we look ahead, Rashad Beard, to the back half of the season, let's kind of set some goals. We're obviously now just at the 1 quarter mark, but it's not exactly like everything's going to get super easy for you guys the rest of this ride here. You still got a handful of divisional games. You got Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. You got to go out to Denver, and I'll tell you, Bo Nix looks a hell of a lot better than I thought he was going to this season. You got New Orleans coming to the house. You got a Giants team that loves to run the football right down your throat coming to the house. If I told you right now you could see some development, like pick one spot you want to see the most development on the football field for Carolina, let's say over the next 3 or 4 weeks, what's your emphasis?
Man, I would like to see us run the football more. I came up here last week and said, hey, we need to get Chuba Hubbard to run the football at least 25 times a game. That's not happening. He is one of the top 5 rushers in the league right now, and he's not getting the touches he deserves. And I believe firmly if we continue to run the football in the Falcons game, we would be sitting potentially with a W. We were only down 8 points for Andy Dalton through the interception, which basically ended the game. So I want to see us run the football more. I'd like to see Jonathan Brooks out there. He's getting ready to his practice window's also been activated. I also don't think he's going to get a ton of work, but I would just like to see him out there get a couple of reps, get his feet wet to see what we have going into next season. The rest of the season, like you said, is about development. Defensively, I don't know what we're going to do, if we're going to stick with Evero or not. That's a tough one to call. Obviously, Salah's out there. He's going to be available, so I can see us making the call there. But quarterback-wise, it would be nice to see Bryce Young turn the corner. I don't think that's going to happen. But if I had to put it on the wish list, let's throw it up there.
All right, a couple of guys I want to get your thoughts on, and then we'll let you go. The first is John Brooks, who you brought up a second ago. The window's open does not mean that he is playing this week or next week, just that he's in that window to make a return. I kind of like adding that dynamic. This kid can has a little bit different game than Chuba Hubbard does, is an excellent pass catcher out of the backfield, so I'm interested there. And the other cat is a guy that I think is starting to show some flashes, a guy you and I were both really high on, and that's Jalen Coker. We both talked about him a lot in the preseason, and we're kind of waiting for him to get involved. What do you think the impact of those two young cats is going to be?
Yeah, man. I'm interested. I think that, Miles Sanders is basically looking at his replacement right there, because everything Miles Sanders can do, Jonathan Brooks is good at too. He can catch out the backfield. So basically everything you see, when you see Miles Sanders leak out and on a wheel route, that's going to be Jonathan Brooks moving forward. So I think that he's going to be great. I think he can run between the tackles. He's elusive, good vision. So I'm excited to see Jonathan Brooks out on the field. I think it's going to be a big impact. You could go back to the double trouble years. When the Carolina Panthers were great, we've always had 2 running backs. And so I believe we can get back to that if we decide to keep Chuba Hubbard moving forward. But I want to manage expectations there with Brooks, though, because I don't think he's going to get a ton of reps. I think he's going to be just kind of ease back in coming off the ACL. You don't want to it's mental for him, right? We don't want to get him out there and lose everything. Loses confidence while he's out there. With Coker, man, yeah, Coker's a good route runner. Want to see more of him. I think he is the Adam Thielen replacement. If you think of what Adam Thielen does, Coker does that as well. Not the fastest guy in the world, but he's a very good route runner, solid in open space. I believe Coker is our basically wide receiver 2 of the future. I don't know if he can creep up to wide receiver 1, but he's best case for Coker, I believe, wide receiver 2. So let's see him continue to develop. That's what I see out of those 2 guys.
And last one, Xavier Legette starting to kind of get comfortable finding that end zone, boy.
Yeah, Yeah, Leggett, man, I love the celebration dance, man. I was doing it in the stadium when he scored. So
Wait, what you do it? What you do it? What you do it right now? What you do it right now?
Horse,
We show it to us right now.
He's doing it. You can't see he's doing it.
No, I need the. There
it is. There it is.
Let's go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Again, we've been needing a wide receiver, one around here, and I believe he's turning the corner. And again, I understand that's why you play Andy Dalton, right? You're probably not going to see those flashes, but the good news is that those guys are going to be around for a while, right? You can develop those guys over time. I believe the quarterback position needs to be fixed, but at the end of the day, man, those guys are going to be great. I do believe we have a solid core moving forward. We just got to struggle through this to continue to struggle. I mean, that's just where we are as Carolina Panthers. We're struggling right now.
By the way, I saw your boy in the Army dropping by saying me and Zoe look like the new kids on the block. I'm a little hurt. I'm gonna get through it, but I'm a little hurt.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm too old for new kids on the block. Probably like the Osmonds. If we
you're making it worse for you. You're making it worse for you. Stop.
No, if we want to get as vanilla as we can, you can't get more vanilla than the Osmonds.
Rashad Beard, host of the Panther Nation podcast, joins us every Thursday at 8:40 to talk Carolina Panther football. My man, good luck. See you Thursday.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's gonna be rough sledding. I do think we lose to the Commanders, by the way. But yeah, it's gonna be tough. Rest of the way it's gonna be tough.
You lose to Rob Brown's Rookie of the Year bet, Jaden Daniels. Ain't no shame in that game, son.
He's cooking right now. It must be nice.
I feel bad. Rashad Beard for the Panther Nation podcast.
He does not feel bad.
No, he does not. Look, he's
no, I'll tell you don't feel bad.
I got stuck, but I'm here.
Look, his computer felt bad. He's like, let me just take Rashad down.
Man, I wish he'd get that thing out of his eye. It's just like, it's just pulling.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Jaden Daniels of Sports Flashes, Lonzo.
That new kid's out. Come on. New York Liberty are on the cusp of winning the WNBA championship after an 80-77 win over the Minnesota Lynx. Bet you didn't know they were still playing. In Game 3, Sabrina Ionescu, not Caitlin Clark, knocked down a three from 6 foot behind the line with 1 second left in the clock as part of a 13.5 rebound, 6 assist night. The LA Dodgers shut out the New York Mets in Game 3 of the NLCS, 8-0 last night. Walker Buehler made his first playoff start in years, going 4 innings and giving up only 3 hits and no runs. The Dodgers had 10 hits on the night, including home runs from Enrique Hernandez, Max Muncy, and Shohei Ohtani. Tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. as the Burns Rebels head to East Side to take on the Eagles. It's Burns versus